Hello guys, welcome back to the my HTML tutorial. This is session 14. In the previous session we learned about HTML checkbox and radio button. In this tutorial we are going to learn about HTML select box and the range button. These are the very useful input tag which we are using to creating attractive web forms. HTML select. The HTML select element is used to create a drop down list. The select element is most often used in a form to collect user input. The name attribute is needed to reference the form data after the form is submitting. If you will not add the name attribute, then the data will not be transferred when you will submit the form for further processing. So don't forget to add the name attribute for the select HTML element. The ID attribute is needed to associate with drop down list with a label. Whenever you are specifying a label, then you must include ID attribute. The option tag inside the select element define the available option in the drop down list. Let's suppose I wanted to give user option the list of the country, then I must apply the option tag inside the select element so that user can see their respective list of the country. Note, always add the label tag for the best accessibility practice. In the previous video I shown why we are using the label tag. Label tag, whenever you will focus on that label, the respective the attribute element will be highlighted. So in that case you will use label. For example, I added some code here, so you can see here. Yes, I created one label given for attribute to associate with this the list of the car. Choose a car. Here I given the name as car. Whenever I will submit this form, then I will look for this car at car name, and it and user which will select any of this option, the value will be assigned to this name value. Okay, to name attribute. And here is this, these are the list of options that is available for the user. User can choose any one of these. Okay, now we have one more element, HTML range element. The input range element define the control for entering a number whose exact value is not important, like a slide control. Whenever you want to restrict the user to enter some value within the range, the HTML5 introduced this range input element that is very useful. Default range is 0 to 100. However, you can restrict on what number are accepted within the attribute. Like if you are creating a e-cart application, then user can add only 2 item in the cart, quantity just 2 item. Then if you will directly will create an input type of number, then user can enter more than 2 or 10 and anything, but then the value will be a number only. But whenever we will use this range element, then we can restrict the user to choose in between the element. Okay, we have many attributes available in the range element, so that we can add some extra features. So let's have a look. Max, specify the maximum value allowed. Like I want to allow the user to add a maximum 5 quantity of any item, then I will specify max attribute in the range input type. If I want to restrict the user can minimum add 1, not the 0, then I will use minimum. A step specify the legal number of interval, like I want to step the user like 1 3 5. I want to restrict the user to choose only the even number or the odd number, then I will specify a minimum value is equal to 1, and step 2, in that case it will always can select odd value. Specify the default value. Okay, if in some time we need to specify some default value, then in that case we will use this value attribute. As usual, label tag is very important if you want to make your web page more attractive and more user friendly. I added few codes here so that you can understand. I created a label for points numbers between 0 to 10. This is the input tag. I changed the types to range, and the id given points, and the name points, and minimum value is 0 and the maximum 10. I am going to continue this code with previous whatever we done. So I am going to run this code in the live server, personal details, or you may say address also. So in this I am going to add one label for is equal to is country. Okay. Inside I am going to use select and name I am giving country. id, we need id attribute to bind with the label, so I am adding id attribute also. Country, we need a name attribute whenever we'll submit this form to get this value, so I added a name and id both. Inside this we can add number of options. So for the first I am setting some constant value. Select country. Okay, value is equal to null. Option value is equal to in India and India. I am going to copy the same data. I will change and I will save, and let's have a look in the browser. As you may see here, whenever I am clicking on this label, this control is going active. So I added these first options, and it doesn't having any value, it is a blank. Whenever we will submit this form, we'll look for the value. If value is the empty string, then we can tell the user you didn't select anything. If the value is not empty, it means the user has selected some at value. Okay, so for that case I added for the first line I added empty string. For the subsequent next line I having some value. Here you can see I added 4 name of the country, and I can choose any of them. Okay, and this time I am choosing India. Now I am going to add one label for is equal to quantity select quantity, input type is equal to range, mean value is equal to 1. I am going to max is equal to 10 and the name is equal to quantity, id is equal to quantity. Okay, I'm going to add one br tag so that this I didn't specify the value attribute, so I am going to specify value, so it would be the default value for this range attribute. Okay, value is equal to 1. Now you can see here, whenever I specified the value, it is the starting point, but user can step 1 to 10. If I will submit this form, we can see how much we selected: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes to 10. If I am changing this value 1 to 2, 3, you may see here the difference. Default value is given 3, but the minimum I can choose 0, the maximum I can choose 10 for the and we can step one value at a time, but I want to step restrict the user can choose only the odd value, so I am going to set to value initial value is equal to 1, minimum user can choose value 1, maximum would be 10, and the starting value is 1, and for each step it will step 2. Okay, now you can see here it go 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, and 9, and yes, as you can see here, it can goes to up to 10, but I specified only the random only the odd value can be selected, so one more step is required, but it would step 2, so that now if I am trying to step, it's not possible because I specified the step attribute 2, and it will always step only 4 times: 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, and 7 to 9, not to 11. If I am changing here 10 to 11, then it is also an odd value. In now it can step up to 11, but earlier it was 10, so it can't step. Okay guys, that's it about the today's session. Please hit the like button and subscribe my channel if you not subscribed yet, and thank you for watching. Happy learning.